guys, welcome back to my channel. So I just filmed a get ready with me, so that's why you're going to be seeing this shirt in 2 videos. And I'm really excited, so we are just going to jump right in. I just want to give a little disclaimer that some of these questions are about being a mom and about my baby and about just me in general, and I wanted to give a disclaimer and just say every baby is different. Not every baby is going to be on the same schedule. Okay, what's the lighting doing? Not every baby is going to be on the same schedule, and you as a mother are doing your very best. No other person in this world could mom your baby like you can, and so what works for us may not work for you, and how I'm being a mom may not be how you're being a mom, but that is totally okay. Keep doing you, and you are doing great. So don't worry about me. Don't compare yourself to me. That's one thing I've had to learn as a new mom. Only 2 months in, I compare myself a lot, and so I'm just having to take a step back and realize that no other woman could mom Cohen Henry like I can, and so just keep that in mind as you watch this video. Let's get started. So the first question is, how old are you and Jason? So I am 24. Jason is 23 and will be 24 next month, May 30th. He is, we are right at 6 months apart. Obviously 6 months older. So yeah, we are 6 months apart, and we don't know what we're going to do for his birthday. We're hoping that everything will be lifted and life will be back to normal so that we can celebrate him. Was how long have we been together? So we, as of May, we will have dated for 5 years, and we've been married for 3 years in December, this past December. So another one was, how much does Cohen weigh? He, at his 2-month appointment last week, he weighed 13.2. He is a good eater. He is chunky. Is our home a forever home? No, this is not our forever home. Every time we would put an offer in on a home, it would sell immediately. We would get outbid, and so finally we found this home. It was a rental previously, and the tenants trashed it when they left. So we purchased it as is. We knew the homeowner, so we purchased it as is and just came in and fixed it ourselves. So there's still so much that needs to be done. I mentioned in our day in the life, this is our bedroom, and we still haven't finished painting like the trim. All of the trim in the house was brown, and I like bright white, so we need to finish painting all the trim. We have like new floors and new carpet in the house, but no, it is not our forever home. We would love to either build a home on some acreage or find a home that's on some land and be able to make that our forever home. Is Jason still in the Army? So Jason finished his term out, his active duty status in Hawaii in 2017, and then he had to finish his like reserve status with the National Guard, and the National Guard required them to do training. I think it was once a month. And one of his training weekends, I had a health scare and ended up in the hospital, and so he could not attend, and so they suggested to him to do, I can't remember what they called it, due to family. I don't remember the terms, but he was able to get out. So he is no longer in the Army, and we are so thankful. That is such a hard life to live. If you do it, props to you. Thank you for your husband's service and for your service, because it is a lot of sacrifices. How was it being married while Jay was in Hawaii? So I mentioned this a second ago. Jason was stationed. He did basic training. I think it was at Fort Benning, and then he was sent to Hawaii, was his duty station at Schofield Barracks. And so he was there the whole time. We actually met when he had just moved to Hawaii, and he was home on leave, and we met, and then he was home for a little while, so he went back. So we were already used to being away, but obviously marriage is completely different, and it is a very it's very special. And so being apart during, especially being newlyweds, it's really hard because you're trying to grow a marriage and you're learning so much about each other, and typically that's when you would move in together and you would start your life together, and we missed out on all that. So it was really hard. We made it work, but that first year, everybody says the first year of marriage is hard. It definitely was challenging, but it made us love each other so much more, and it made being together just so special when he was finally home for good. How do you make time for yourself as a new mom? This one, I had to learn, because as a new mom, it's just instinct. Like when that baby is placed on your chest, even when you just become pregnant, you really put yourself on the back burner. But when you finally have that baby and that baby is laid on your chest, even in the hospital, you don't see things like you did. Your hair, like doing your hair and doing your makeup, like is really the last thing. You want to make sure your baby's happy and your baby is fed. And so for me, I had the baby blues really, really bad those first 3 weeks. I struggled with anxiety, and just it was not postpartum depression at all. I've seen people who struggle with that, and it was just, that's completely different than what I dealt with. But I had the baby blues. I felt like I was the only person that needed to hold him. I didn't want somebody else to hold him, and then him to think that somebody else was his mom. I felt like I couldn't get a shower because I didn't want to leave him. My sweet mama stayed with us for pretty much the first 2 weeks, every single night. My husband is in school, and it's mandatory. He cannot miss any days. They're anywhere from 12 to 15 hour days, so they're very long. So I struggled really bad with that. And so my mom really had to teach me how important it was to take care of me so that I could take care of Cohen and I could take care of Jason. So for me, it started with just showering. That sounds so, so simple, but until you've been a new mom, sometimes even at 2 months into this, I don't even know sometimes the last time I showered. But if you're bottle feeding, it's hard. If you're breastfeeding, it's hard. To just find that time to make for you, it's really hard. And so for me, just finding time for me to shower. And now it is taking that time at night to shower, shave my legs, wash my hair, dry my hair, and make sure that the next morning I can wake up and I can feel good and not just feel dirty and like I need a shower, but I can feel good waking up the next morning is very important to me. And then waking up in the morning while Cohen's taking his nap, he's napping, taking time for me. So whether that's painting my toenails, putting makeup on, doing my hair. So you just learn to navigate. You learn a quicker makeup routine than what you've done before. Just simple things like that, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes. So make that time for yourself. I really encourage you to make that time for yourself. Is Cohen on a schedule? If so, how did you get him on one? Cohen he's pretty much on a schedule, and we just followed his schedule. I read a lot of things that I felt like really discouraged me at first in the schedule department, because I was afraid it was going to be really hard to get him onto a schedule, because what I was reading was like a rigid schedule. I mean, it was like long, and it stressed me out because I'm like, I don't think I can get him on that rigid of a schedule. So at a month old, we just started kind of doing what he had always been doing, but just making it a little bit more strict, I guess. So for Cohen, he would wake up for good really around like 9 o'clock, and I would feed him. And then he would be awake for maybe 25-30 minutes, and he would start getting tired and showing me his sleepy cues. And so I would put a passy when he would take one. He finally takes one now, but at the time he didn't. I would either nurse him to sleep or rock him to sleep. And then I would lay him down, and he would take a nap, sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes. So then when he was ready to wake up, we woke up, I changed his clothes at that point and put him on probably most, new jammies, they're just babies. But we would get him ready, put some lotion on him, and open all the blinds so he knew it was daytime, because he did have his days and nights mixed up a little bit. And then I would feed him, and then we would just go throughout the day. So at around a month, we started just putting a little bit stricter of a routine. So I started, if I knew he typically was awake around 9:30, I would kind of wake him up. Like if he had his nap, I knew he was rested around 9:30, I would kind of start talking, and which I vacuum under his bed or under his swing. I want him to sleep through a lot of noise. So, but I would start call somebody and talk on the phone right near him. And he would usually start to wake up at that point. And then we started bedtime routine at a month old. And around 8 o'clock is when we would start his bedtime routine. So we just started implementing things that we did religiously. So we did it every single day. And even to this day, if we're at my parents' house eating supper and it's 8 o'clock and it's bath night, I'll give him a bath there. I'll put his lotion on, put his jammies on him. That way, when we get home, he usually is asleep and he just transfers right to his bassinet, and he really doesn't know the difference. If it's not bedtime, then we just do lotion, put his jammies on, even if we're, somewhere else, and we just start the bedtime routine wherever we are. We implemented that routine and just kept it pretty strict, and some nights he doesn't want to go to bed at 8:30, 8:45. He wants to go to bed at 9:30. And if that's the case, then we just keep the lights real dim so he knows, it is nighttime, it is time to sleep, and then we just work with it. Is Cohen sleeping in his crib? No. I don't know when he'll sleep in his crib. I don't want to talk about him sleeping in his crib. He does nap. At 2:30, he takes a 3-hour nap, and he sleeps in his crib. Of course, the door is open. Half the time I'm sitting in the rocking chair while he's sleeping, so I can see him, but he sleeps in his crib at that time. But as far as nighttime goes, we're not there yet, and I don't know when we'll be there because I'm not ready for all that. How do me and Jason make time for one another with a newborn? It's very challenging, but we've got it down pat now. Like I said, Cohen's on a routine, so it just means sometimes we have to stay up later so that we can watch Duck Dynasty together, so we can eat Oreos together. We just make time. Supper time. Jason loves to sit on the couch and eat supper, and that's something we always did, but even when I was pregnant. But I learned after Cohen's first month and we were kind of settling in, very important for us to be able to have that time together and that communication. And so sitting at the table for us is huge. So making time for us, we just find ways. So if it's sitting on the couch watching Duck Dynasty while Cohen is asleep, even if Cohen's sleeping on my chest, but laughing together, talking together, eating Oreos together at night, or even just laying in bed while Cohen's in his bassinet and we watch YouTube videos together. It's just chatting. Making that time for us to communicate is huge. What is my dream dog? Golden Doodle. Hands down. Don't even have to think about it. I love Golden Doodles. Me and my mom both want to go Golden Doodle. What is my dream vacation? My dream vacation would probably be, I would love to go back to Hawaii. We went and visited Jason while he was stationed there. This is when we were dating. It was actually when he asked my dad's permission to marry me. So I would go back to Hawaii. We stayed for 7 days and it was great. It was beautiful. My favorite dessert. This is a lot of about me now. Favorite dessert. Lemon meringue pie. I love it. I love lemon meringue pie. I love anything fruity. Anything. Favorite food. Mexican. If you know me, you know I love Mexican. I'm obsessed. I could eat it every day of the week. I love it. So I actually hear my little guy waking up in there. So that's going to be all for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next.